Good evening, everybody. You're watching Truth Uncensored, the podcast where bold conversation meets Christ centered truth. I'm your host, Josh Cook, and boy, have we got a great show for you guys tonight. Well, welcome in, everybody. Thank you for joining me. My name is Josh Cook, and this is the Truth Uncensored podcast. This is our 9th episode, and it's a little bit of a fun episode because not only are we going to get into some big stories and some big news today, but it is our first episode in 2 months. So for those of you who have been following the podcast for a while, I do sincerely apologize that this has been our first episode in 2 months. I've had a lot of stuff going on in my personal life. I've been in the process of moving, trying to get some stuff done for school. I've been working, so I've been doing a lot of different things. This is obviously not my day job. I really hope it soon could be, but as of right now, it is not my day job. So welcome in for all of our viewers. Looks like we've got 2 people on Rumble and 1 person on YouTube, 0 people on Twitch right now. As a reminder, we do stream on, I believe it's 5 platforms. We stream on Rumble, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Twitch. So whenever the podcast goes live, we do our episodes as live streams as of right now. So that's we're able to give the audience a really engaging format that they can engage with. And so we've got the live chat. It's obviously not, it's on the screen. You guys just can't say anything because nobody's put anything in the chat yet, but we've got a big episode today, guys. As you can probably see by the title, our 2 main topics today are the Nick Fuentes and Hunter Biden interview dropped. So for those of you that tuned in with us either yesterday or the day before yesterday, it was not a podcast episode, but I did a live stream where I made a series of what I thought were going to be YouTube videos, and one of those was a reaction to the trailer for the Nick Fuentes Hunter Biden interview on Channel 5 with, I believe it's Andrew Callahan, and several other things. But I made a crucial error that I didn't even catch until afterwards. That was an hour and a half of wasted time. But basically, for those of you that don't know, or for those of you that do streaming and content creation and all that stuff, you guys probably understand what OBS is, or Streamlabs. You guys probably use one of those, OBS, Streamlabs, one of those things to process your stuff. And for me, I've got this handy dandy mic, which I really like to use. So you have to add in all video and audio devices, but it still has the mic from your actual PC or computer. So you have to have that muted in the audio to where it's just the mic, or else it echoes. So let me know in the chat if this is echoing at all. It should not be, because I've got literally everything. I've got the computer audio muted. I've got the mic muted. It's just this mic that you guys should be hearing. And then I can obviously hear myself monitoring in the headphones. But yeah, we've got a big episode. It's going to be a bit of a longer episode than normal, because my plan, if technology commits and there's no major catastrophes in the world or breaking news that we have to get into immediately, my plan is to start off with the Tate brothers' arrest and other breaking news, and then move in to reacting and giving commentary to the entire Nick Fuentes Hunter Biden sit down, which I believe is like an hour and 40 minutes, and already has 81,000 likes, guys. Let me see how many views it has. I forget how many views it has exactly, guys. It is already at, bro, it's got over 1.8 million views, guys, and it's gotten 2,000 more likes in the last 10 minutes since I've set this stuff up. But yeah, we've got a big episode today, big show. I'm just going to go ahead and jump right into it. So first I want to say hello to all of our viewers. Those of you viewing on Rumble, put something in the live chat, guys. Make it interactive, make it fun. If you guys would like to support me in any way, I'm not sure if it's in the link for all of these yet, but if you go to my Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok, definitely Instagram and TikTok, my link tree is in the bio. I just got link tree, guys. So if you comment on any of my reels on Instagram, you will get a message from me with that link tree that basically just has all of my social medias, all of my profiles, all the stuff I do, including this podcast, just put in one place. And it also has links to my Venmo, Cash App, and PayPal. So if you guys would like to support me, support the podcast, support the movement that we're doing in any way besides viewing, because viewing is the number one thing, guys. I do not expect financial gratuity at this point. Is not an expectation at all. I understand that most people that watch podcasts, most people that watch streamers, either don't have the financial ability to just be able to donate hundreds of dollars. It's not realistic. People like Nick Fuentes and Dean Withers, if you watch them, they make it look easy because they get tons of money, but those are the drastic exceptions, guys. We are very bottom of the barrel, very low baseline. But if you guys would like to do that in any way, you can do that through Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, and Linktree in the bio. I would be very appreciative, and you will be getting a personal message and shout out from me. Hello to all of our viewers on YouTube. I'm monitoring all the streams, guys. So I've got an iPad right here where I'm monitoring the YouTube stream in the live chat, which I will respond. So any messages put in the live chat on YouTube will get responded to. I've got my phone right here, which is monitoring the Facebook and X streams, and then I've got the main Rumble stream over here. But let's go ahead and jump into our first bit of breaking news, guys. The Tate brothers were arrested. I think it's a total of 6 days ago now, because again, we haven't had an episode in 2 months, but we've got to get into it. So Andrew and Tristan Tate, if you guys don't know, they are major entrepreneurs, businessmen, basically the faces of the manosphere and right-wing conservative. They also do political commentations. So if you guys know me, you know I'm a big fan of the Tates. I've been a big fan of the Tates ever since I heard about them and started watching them. They're a very controversial group, guys. A very controversial couple of guys. They've been banned from pretty much every social media platform imaginable. They've tried to cancel them, silence them, but they continue to prevail. But unfortunately, they were arrested in Miami, Florida, on their way to appear at a boxing match. It was not even a U.S. It was on a warrant from the U.K. So it was a sealed warrant that the U.S. received from the U.K. on a total of 59 charges, guys. This is actually ridiculous. This is like the level of trumped up charges that we had with Trump and the 34 felonies and all of his crap. But let's not just talk. Let's actually look at sources and read some articles. So let me go ahead and put this on the screen. First thing we're going to look at is an article from the BBC from 6 days ago when it first happened. Headline reads: Tate brothers arrested in U.S. as further U.K. charges take total to 59. The article reads, quote, controversial influencer Andrew Tate and his brother Tristan have been arrested in the U.S. after British authorities issued 38 new charges against the pair. The UK's Crown Prosecution Services, otherwise known as CPS, not Child Protective Services, guys. That's what we have here in the UK. CPS is Crown Prosecution Service, said, quote, Andrew was being charged with 7 further counts of rape as well as charges relating to sex trafficking and indecent images of a child. The article continues. Tristan's charges include, quote, 2 counts of rape and 3 counts of arranging or facilitating trafficking for sexual exploitation. This brings the total number of charges against the brothers to 59. The alleged offending is said to have taken place between July of 2010 and August of 2017. Isn't that convenient? Isn't it convenient that it's the same thing with Trump and the stupid E. Jean Carroll rape case, that it's never brought up until at least 10 or to 15 to almost even 20 years in some cases after it happened. And it's usually because, as we seen when they were first arrested some time ago, and they were in prison, got put on house arrest, ultimately got released from that and released from house arrest, that the women initially were paid, and then we found out that their testimonies were false and that they really didn't have any evidence to keep them in prison in prison at all. So it says, following the arrest, prosecutors will begin legal proceeding to extradite the brothers, who are dual British U.S. citizens, to the UK. Quote, these charging decisions followed a receipt of further file of evidence from Bedfordshire police and bring the total number of alleged victims in this case to 7. Malcolm Mahaffey, head of Special Crime Division at the CPS, said this. It continues. As a result, 38 new charges were authorized against the brothers, meaning Andrew faces a total of 42 charges in the UK, and Tristan. Those were their ages. Andrew whose age is 39, faces a total of 42 charges in the UK, and Tristan, who's 37, faces 17 charges. The U.S. Marshals confirmed to the BBC that the Tates had been taken into custody in Miami, while a U.S. Department of Justice spokesperson said the arrests were, quote, pursuant to extradition proceedings. We've also found out that it does not appear that Trump or Rubio, Donald Trump, President of the United States, and Marco Rubio, Secretary of State, even though they have shown sympathy for the Tates and their situation. Donald Trump Jr., I believe, called their initial arrest political propaganda. Even though they've aligned with them, and there were rumors that they were actually the reason they were taken off house arrest, because they were actually taken off house arrest very shortly after Trump was inaugurated into office. Then they made their way into Miami, Florida. It does not appear that Trump or the White House or anybody is going to be trying to block the extradition of the Tates to the UK, which is honestly disappointing to me. But right now, we're not giving my opinion. We're just giving facts. The article continues. A lawyer who represents the Tates, Joseph McBride, said, quote, "The world knows Andrew and Tristan are innocent," end quote. This was in a statement released after their arrest on Saturday evening. And then he continues, quote, "Their enemies know it best of all. That's exactly why they've been attacked." This is when McBride was describing the UK charges as a political hit. I completely agree. I believe that these charges are definitely a political hit, especially because they're coming from the UK. Because the UK, unlike the US, has actually been, guns are completely prohibited in the UK. They've actually been enacting freedom of speech laws. You can be arrested in the UK for basically looking at a person with blue hair the wrong way, or using the wrong pronouns, or misgendering somebody. It's crazy stuff over there. Their lawyer continues, quote, "We are confident that once a competent judge sees the facts and once the Department of Justice confronts this egregious abuse of its own authority, Andrew and Tristan Tate will walk free. America does not do Britain's political dirty work." In 2024, Bedfordshire police secured European arrest warrants for the Tate brothers to have them returned from Romania, where they are based and are under criminal investigation. And in June, the brothers lost a legal bid to be told the names of their UK accusers. So this is what's crazy, guys, and that was the end of the BBC article, by the way. But you've got these two guys who have made a living off of well, I say these guys because a lot of people only know about Andrew. A lot of people don't even know the stuff that Tristan has done behind the scenes and how close they actually are. Like, Tristan Tate and Andrew Tate are basically one. They share everything. They share cars, they share houses, they share a business. So anything that Andrew does, Tristan does. They're on the same playing field, and they've said this many times. But you have these people who are very controversial, say tons of things that the media does not like, and they say things that the media and the liberal woke left would even declare as dangerous, and things that are unfit to be said. So they've been actively targeted, just as Donald Trump was with all of his bogus charges. And I honestly don't understand why this is any different. But as there always is, we have, what in the, oh, okay. Sorry, my thing was bugging out. But everybody's been commenting on this. We've got mostly right-wing political commentators, including Ben Shapiro, Myron Gaines, Piers Morgan, Adam Sosnick, Nick Fuentes. There are many people who have given their own commentary on this. So we're going to look at that in just a minute. But this right here that I'm about to show you is the official Fox News. This is when it first happened. So this was breaking news. Fox News was already live, and right as they got arrested, they reported. So we're going to go ahead and look at that Fox News clip.
Breaking news to get to, though, as this is coming into our newsroom just in the last couple of moments. This post coming from TMZ saying, breaking, Andrew and Tristan Tate have been arrested in Miami. We also have this post coming from the New York Post. Manosphere influencers Andrew and Tristan Tate arrested by U.S. Marshals in Florida. The Associated Press is reporting influencer brothers Andrew and Tristan Tate were arrested by federal authorities on Saturday in Miami. That's according to the U.S. Marshals Service. The charges against the pair were not immediately announced, but a spokesperson for the Marshals Service is telling the Associated Press that the warrant was sealed. I want to put up some video on your screen right now of the Tate brothers. They were arrested on extradition request from the UK. That's according to a person who is familiar with the matter, who spoke on the condition of anonymity because they were not authorized to publicly discuss this case. The brothers, proponents of hypermasculinity, who have millions of followers on social media, have been wanted in the United Kingdom, where they face rape and human trafficking charges. The brothers are dual U.S. and British citizens who moved to Romania in 2016. They were arrested there in 2022, accused of participating in schemes to lure women for sexual exploitation. They denied those allegations, and the case did not go forward because legal and procedural irregularities. The former professional kickboxers have amassed a following of fans, particularly young men and boys, by professing a lifestyle of luxury and unapologetic misogyny. The pending charges in the UK.
I'm gonna pause that right there. I was gonna wait until the whole clip was over to comment, but what they just said was I believe it said like unashamed misogyny, or I think they mispronounced misogyny. But I just want to speak on that real quick, because this is a very dividing factor, both in the right, well, not really in the left, but in the right, of whether Andrew and Tristan Tate are misogynist. And I'm just gonna give my opinion on this, because my opinion is it's a bit of a mixed one. Do I believe that some of the things that they've said in their past could have been perceived as misogynistic? I do. Do I think that they are misogynist at heart, and do I think that they are currently misogynist? No. So as most of you know, they used to run a webcam business with women where they would have women who wanted to do cam work. They would hire them. Basically, it's pornography. It's live webcam stuff, which I obviously do not support. And this was before that. I believe they were both atheists at this time. I believe Tristan's a Christian now, and Andrew's currently a part of the Muslim faith. But it's essentially pornography. But since neither of them claim to be Christians or of faith, I mean, pornography is something that's legalized in this country and in many other countries. So they didn't commit a crime with the webcam business. And previously, in their youth, Andrew had made several comments about women and how women are property and other things. And I don't know the exact quotes, but I don't agree with any of that. So do I believe that those comments, that they may have made comments that were misogynistic? Yes. But misogyny, I want to go ahead and take this time real quick to bring up the definition of misogyny, because we need to make sure that we are actively and both actively and correctly describing what we are talking about. So if we just quickly pull up the definition of misogyny. So this is the official definition of misogyny. Misogyny, quote, is the hatred of, contempt for, or prejudice against women and girls, derived from Greek words meaning to hate and women. So ultimately, what we have to accept, if we're going to accept the official definition, is that misogyny is the hatred of women. So do Andrew and Tristan Tate hate women? No, I don't believe they've ever hated women, because if you hated women, then why would you spend your entire large majority of your time online on social media talking about how great women are? Now, when I say how great women are, I mean they have a positive aspect of the female sex. They just criticize things that women say and do, and things that have been historically associated with feminism and the feminist movement, and which I also criticize. But no, so I just wanted to comment on that. That was probably not worded in the best way, but I do not believe as at this time that they are misogynists. But let's go ahead and continue watching the clip.
They accused the brothers of abusing women between 2012 and 2015 in an area north of London where they grew up. Their lawyers have said that they denied the allegations. We also have this coming in from the Crown Prosecution Service, who has decided to bring additional charges against the brothers, Andrew and Tristan Tate. Following their arrest, prosecutors will seek extradition in relation to the original charges and the further charges they have authorized. So
see, that's ridiculous. They want the extradition to be on the previous charges. The charges which we have already debunked as not true. They didn't actually have evidence. All of the sworn testimonies and signed affidavits from the so-called women who they abused. Both of the women came out saying that they were paid to make those false testimonies, and that neither of them were true. In fact, before we continue this clip, I have another clip I want to show you guys that I actually didn't have planned, but I came across it the other day, and I think it's a worthwhile clip to play. So one of the charges, it says within the 59 charges that are currently being put against them, one of Tate's previous girlfriends, who's actually the subject of one of the abuse charges for women, and she actually came out. She came out the first time, and then they got released, and she has actually come out again for the second time. This is what she said. Let me find that clip. I don't know if the clip is on YouTube. It might not be. No. They have the one from three years ago. They don't have the recent one. Let me see if I can find it on a different place other than you. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this, but I really want to find that clip so I can show you guys. Sorry for the delay here, guys, while I find this clip. Alright guys, if it doesn't come up on this time, we'll just move on, but I really wanted to find that. Yeah, I can't find it, unfortunately. So let's just go ahead and finish watching the clip, guys.
posts, reading from their website. Once again, they're deciding to bring those further charges against the brothers Andrew and Tristan Tate in relation to 4 further victims. The CPS deciding to prosecute Andrew Tate, who is 39, with 7 further counts of rape, 3 counts of arranging or facilitating trafficking for sexual exploitation, 3 counts of assault, and bodily harm, and 19 additional charges for offenses relating to indecent images of children and extreme pornography. The CPS deciding to prosecute Tristan Tate, who is 38 years old, with 1 count of sexual assault, 2 counts of rape, and 3 counts of arranging or facilitating trafficking for sexual exploitation. The offending is alleged to have taken place between July of 2010 and August of 2017. So we wanted to be sure to bring you that breaking news, as Andrew and Tristan Tate have been arrested by the U.S. Marshal Service in Miami. That breaking news just coming in moments ago. We are going to slide away right now.
All right, guys, so that was the Fox News clip. So that was the Fox News. That was when the news first broke, and Fox covered it on their network. Now we are going to get into all of the people, mostly right-wing political commentators and known figures, who have spoken out either for or against the Tates, and just listen to their opinions, commentate on them, and then give my opinions on the matter. So first up, we have Myron Gaines. So this is what Myron Gaines had to say about the whole Andrew Tate situation.
I was about to go to sleep. I was on Twitter, and this tweet came across my feed, okay? And I said, fuck it, we're not sleeping right now. Guys, the Tates need our help, okay?
Yes,
I saw this come across my feed.
Do.
He basically says, I'm being held in SHU, the highest level of security which exists. No commissary, no visits, no contact with the outside world. My neighbor is a cannibal who screams throughout the night. Now, as you guys...
That's ridiculous. The fact that somebody like Tate, somebody who has been literally put through hell in being arrested, being put in prison on false charges, and they actually had no evidence against him, being put on house arrest, to the second a warrant comes in, not from the U.S., from the U.K. We have a warrant from the U.K. The second that comes in, he gets put in solitary confinement, can't talk to anybody, and he's next door to a cannibal. How are we comparing Andrew Tate to a cannibal right now? This is ridiculous. Let's continue watching the clip.
Guys know, I'm very familiar with this jail. When I was a special agent back in the day with Homeland, I've literally dropped off 1 million people at this facility, man. FDC, Miami FDC is horrible. So I made some phone calls, got some things together. I'm asking y'all to do this for me. Please comment, like, and retweet this, okay?
Absolutely.
Here's a tweet I just wrote.
Done this, by
to the
way,
U.S.
guys.
Marshals, BOP, Miami FTC, and Rubio. As a former 1811 who personally processed and delivered hundreds of prisoners into this exact facility, I'm raising a precise legal and operational concern regarding the Tate brothers. They're currently on U.S. Marshal hold, pending extradition approval / denial in proceedings. They have not been convicted of any crime in the United States and, most importantly, are U.S. citizens, yet their status is that of extradition detainees. Over more than 3 years of proceedings in Romania, the brothers appeared at every required court hearing and judicial proceeding, more than 40 in total, without missing a single one. They even returned to Romania when summoned after travel restrictions were eased. That is a clear and...
All right, guys, I'm not gonna watch that whole clip because we have other things to get to. But yeah, I 100% agree with Myron, guys. Obviously, Myron knows a lot more about this than I do. Myron used to be a secret agent. He worked for the United States military. I think he may have worked for FBI special operations, but he was a federal agent. He knows how these things work. He knows the insides and outs, and I believe that what he's saying is true. So if you guys haven't either during this, after this, whatever, go to Myron's X account, find that tweet, like, repost it. If I believe I've already done it, but I'm gonna check. If I haven't done it, I will do it as soon as this live is over. But we need to do everything that we can, guys, because again, I believe wholeheartedly in innocent until proven guilty. So again, I've said the same thing about Trump. I don't believe Trump raped Jean Carroll. I don't believe Trump raped underage people or anybody for that matter on Epstein's island. I don't believe that Trump was a knowing and committed and co-conspirator in any of the Epstein stuff, even though he's mentioned in the files because they had done work together. I don't believe there's enough evidence to support that. But again, innocent until proven guilty, meaning that if they ever come up with hardcore evidence that Trump raped E. Jean Carroll or Trump did anything on the Epstein Island, I believe that he should have the same punishment as I believe everybody else who did that to kids or anybody else should have, and that is murder and to be executed. I believe the same thing about the Tates. I don't believe that these charges are accurate. I do not believe that they are guilty of any, or not most at least, if not any of these charges. But if they ever come up with hard evidence throughout this trial, if evidence comes forth, actual evidence that they did these things, then I believe that both of them should be should have the same punishment. But as of right now, I don't believe that's the case. Next, we're going to look at Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro is a political commentator, co-founder of the Daily Wire, and host of the Ben Shapiro Show. And this is what he had to say about the Tate's arrest and about the Tates themselves.
Tucker, as I've mentioned, devoted hours of airtime proclaiming Tate's innocence. So did Candace. The vice president followed the Tate brothers on X. Is this a coincidence? It's all the same people. It's all the same people. These are the conspiracy theorists. These are the
I want to make one comment real quick. I love how Ben said he always likes to use the word conspiracy theorist as if that means, oh, if you're a conspiracy theorist, that automatically means that everything you say is false and you're just some lying scumbag. Guys, I'm going to quote Charlie Kirk here on something he said. I've always loved this ever since he said it, so I'm going to go ahead and steal this real quick. I am sick and tired of people constantly using the word conspiracy theorist and labeling anybody who does not go with the official narrative that's given to us by whoever's feeding it to us as a conspiracy theorist. Because if you look at the people that were called conspiracy theorists, the people that said Epstein was not a financier and he was a pedophile and ran a sex trafficking ring on his private island, we were called conspiracy theorists. When we said that the whole COVID thing and the wearing masks and the social distancing wasn't doing anything and it was all a hoax, and that the COVID vaccine had negative side effects, we were called conspiracy theorists. Anybody who denies the magic bullet theory with JFK is called a conspiracy theorist. Yet, especially with the Epstein stuff, even Ben Shapiro is on record, live on his show, saying that anybody who believes in the Epstein crap is stupid and misguided. So even Ben didn't believe in the Epstein stuff, which has now been proven to be true and is one of the biggest political cover-ups involving multiple countries, mainly the U.S. and Israel, in political history. So you can call us whatever you want, but as Charlie Kirk said, if you label something as a conspiracy theory or you label someone as a conspiracy theorist, really usually what that means is you wait 6 months and that thing's actually proven true. But let's see what else Ben has to say.
right, horseshoe theory people. These are the Jews did the pornography, and did the Holocaust really happen?
Which they did. I'm actually gonna pull that up right now because I'm tired of people acting like the Jews have nothing to do with pornography and the porn industry, because that's just not true. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm gonna pull this up real quick. Sorry guys, my computer is acting up. Right here, guys. So I don't have all of them. You guys can go out and do your own research. But this is just Pornhub. So I simply typed into Google, is the founder of Pornhub Jewish? And it says Pornhub's parent company. So the people that own Pornhub, and the people that own Pornhub and keep Pornhub up and in business and up and running, named ILO, is owned by Ethical Capital Partners, a prominent founding partner and chief compliance officer so the chief compliance officer of Ethical Capital Partners is Solomon Friedman, who's an Orthodox Jewish rabbi. So Ethical Capital Partners, which is the parent company of Pornhub, kind of like what Skydance is to Paramount, their CCO, their chief compliance officer, Solomon Friedman, is an ordained Orthodox Jewish rabbi. So at any point in time, he could either drop Pornhub or sell it to somebody else, but no, he's allowing his company to be the prominent funder and the people that's keeping Pornhub in business. And Pornhub is the biggest porn site in the world. If Pornhub ever got shut down, the amount of porn that would be watched on the internet, because there's not really, like, there's other places that you can watch it, but most people just know about that one. The watch time would go down significantly. Let's watch the rest of what Ben says.
Simultaneously, the Jews did the pornography, and did the Holocaust really happen? Simultaneously hugging Muslim pornography.
I'm going to give you guys my opinion on this real quick as well. I'm not sure if I've ever said this officially on a podcast episode, but for the record, no matter what anybody says, I am confident as of right now that yes, the Holocaust did happen. However, the numbers are greatly inflated. I don't believe it's anywhere near 6 million. I don't believe there's any evidence to support that either.
Who allegedly raped white women. Nick Fuentes is constantly claiming to hate pornography. I mean, that's when he's not, having a window open with trans pornography on it. He claims to...
And that's false. That is a rumor that's been spread online on social media. It's not confirmed by any sources, and there's certainly no hardcore evidence for it. Ben, as a co-founder of what's supposed to be a news organization and the host of a news show and podcast, should be smart enough to know that. Stop spreading misinformation, Ben.
Despise the Jews for supposedly having spread a pornographic culture, despite the fact that Judaism opposes pornography and finds it a sin.
If that's true, Ben, then why do so many Jewish people and Orthodox rabbis have shares in, and use porn sites? Answer me that. All right, well, that was Ben Shapiro's commentary. I'm not even sure what to say about that, but... Next, we are going to look at the commentary from Adam Sosnick. Adam Sosnick is a contributor and oftentimes co-host of the PBD, Patrick Bet David podcast. He also is the host of his own podcast called Soscast, which is a business, lifestyle, and dating podcast. He has hosted both Nick Fuentes and Andrew Tate on his personal podcast. PBD podcast has hosted Andrew Tate, I think it's 5 times. The PBD podcast and Adam Sosnick have both had positive impressions of the Tates, and this is what Adam had to say on Piers Morgan Uncensored with regard to the Tate's arrest.
Well, I have massive respect for Ben Shapiro and as well as Michael Knowles.
I thought he crushed it right there.
And I'm also friends with Andrew Tate. You can have diverging opinions in your life and still respect both parties right there.
I agree with that.
But I've known Andrew Tate for at least 5 years. I've been a fan of Ben Shapiro for God knows how long. I think maybe if there was a cross-section of 2 people, it would be someone like Ben and someone like Tate. So you could be a masculine, strong, powerful guy and still have values and conservative principles and standards and respect women.
100%.
Now, I watch Ben all the time. I saw him do a 45-minute episode on Andrew Tate. I know he's not a fan of Andrew Tate. I don't think Andrew Tate or Tristan Tate, who I've known for quite some time, consider themselves conservatives, right? I think where they both align is that they can confidently say that the Labor Party of the left or the Democratic Party of the left in America are ruining the country and are ruining the world. And if you can team up to get someone like Trump elected, I think that's where all these forces kind of came together. Now,
exactly
Ben Shapiro, if he had his opinion, he probably would have never had Andrew Tate endorsement. But that's irrelevant because Alina Habba, you just showed, I believe. I think you showed Donald Trump Jr. I think Barron Trump is a fan of Tate. So there's
And
they
Justin
say
Waller.
have a big tent. For me, the Republican Party is a big tent as long as you love America. Now, Tate is an American. He's also a Brit. He's also moved to Romania. I think we've interviewed the Tates at least 5 times on the Peabody podcast. And I'll tell you one story that made me a little more confident in the Tates. You ready? So, by the way, they've been charged with or allegations of some of the most heinous, absurd, horrible, ridiculous crimes.
At least we can agree on
and
that.
they've never been convicted of anything. But one time in Fort Lauderdale, when they were able to fly in and he sort of challenged DeSantis, he said he had to go back to Romania. And I asked him, why do you need to go back? You're here in the States. He goes, I'm going to man up and I'm going to show up and I'm going to be there in trial and I'm not on the run. That made me a little bit like, wow, this guy really believes in what he's doing.
Paul David.
Yeah, and that's the end of that clip, by the way. But no, that's also something that Myron was talking about. They've never missed a court date, guys. During the whole time they were on house arrest, the whole time, like obviously when they were being held in prison, they had to get to go to their court dates. But whenever they've had the option and they could have skipped, they could have not gone. They could have been like, we're gonna stand and protest and not go because of these charges. No, they've went every single time. They have abided by the court system, both in Romania, the U.S. and the UK. Anywhere where they've been, where they've had to go to court, anywhere where they've had charges, they've been very respectful. They don't respect any of those people that are doing that to them, but they've been respectful of the legal system and respectful of the legal process, and they have done and gone through the steps that need to be taken in order to see justice served. So I believe wholeheartedly, if we want to see justice served, then we have to be willing to take the steps toward that. Which I believe they have done. Next up, we're going to be looking at somebody who I really admire, somebody who I think most of you admire as well, Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk didn't talk about Andrew Tate that much. I think Andrew Tate talked more about Charlie Kirk than Charlie Kirk talked about him. But the only time I've seen, you guys can let me know in the comments if there's any other times, and maybe drop a link or something. I'm not sure if the comments will let you put a link in there or not. But this is the only time that I've been able to find that Andrew Tate was asked that Charlie Kirk was asked a question about Andrew Tate. I think his response is very based and very powerful. So this is what Charlie Kirk had to say about Andrew Tate.
Candace Owens just interviewed Andrew Tate. Yep. Our CEO flew to Romania to interview Andrew Tate. His message seems to be suppressed. He just finally got released from home.
This is back when he
arrest.
First got off house arrest, like in 2023.
What do you think is keeping the powers that be afraid of that message that Andrew Tate is bringing out to the world?
Yeah, I mean, look, Andrew is a very smart man, and I'm not going to get into all the accusations against him. I don't know the truth, or we'll find out. But I will say this.
That's my stance right there. I mean, obviously, I'm getting into it now because it's a very important topic. It's breaking news. It's something like this podcast. We cover major pop culture, political events that are going on. So obviously, we had to cover this, especially not only because I'm fans of the Tates, but that's always my stance. And I love what Charlie said. We don't know. We don't have the evidence in front of us. We don't know. At least I don't know the Tates personally enough to be able to be a full judge of their character. All I know is what I've seen them say, what I've seen them do, the difference I've seen them make in the lives of so many young men around the world and personal friends of mine and people that I know, the positive impact that they've had on the right wing, whether or not they call themselves conservatives. I know Adam said that he doesn't know if they call themselves conservatives or not, but regardless of any of that, I personally have made a judgment of that. But obviously, I'm not going to keep after this. I'm probably not going to address the accusations every day. I'm not going to say that they're fully innocent. I'm not going to say they're fully guilty because I don't know. None of us do. Only the people who have the evidence in front of them and who are the ones deciding the case truly know what's going on. And again, I've already said if they have hardcore evidence and they're proven to be guilty. Now, proven to be guilty and convicted in a court of law are two different things, because Trump was held civilly liable of rape and Trump was convicted of 34 felonies. I don't believe he was guilty of any one of those felonies, and even if he was guilty of the stuff, it should not have been charged as a felony. That was a political hit, and I don't believe he raped E. Jean Carroll. But if evidence comes to light, hardcore evidence that can be proven that any of those things are true, then I will change my stance and give my opinions accordingly. But let's listen to the rest of what Andrew Tate had to say.
smart man, and I'm not going to get into all the accusations against him. I don't know the truth, or we'll find out. But I will say this: what he says is so powerful, and let's emphasize on that. What Andrew Tate is doing is he's communicating a warning of what happens when society becomes too feminine.
Absolutely.
Now, if I offend you with this, good, because honestly, it's the truth, and you need to hear it. So, by the way, for the ladies in the audience, I would venture a guess you are underwhelmed by the feminization of American men as it's happening around you.
All right, this is in 2023.
I hear it all the time. So as society can become too feminine, it also can become too masculine, okay?
Absolutely.
So we know what happens when a society becomes too masculine. You get Mussolini, right? You get too dictatorial,
Hitler,
too rigid.
Stalin.
That's where you quote unquote get the kind of authoritarianism that we're warned against. But have we ever thought deeply, what happens when a society archetypically becomes too feminine?
Why are people worried,
That's an interesting question,
worried
isn't
about
it?
that?
Well, all of a sudden you get the complete disregard for rules, customs, and guardrails because you want to accept all things.
Facts. That's what happened with
You get
transgenderism.
you get feelings-based societal governance over rationality-based societal governance. It is the man's job in a marriage and when you raise a child to say no. That is my job as a father. No, no,
Absolutely.
no, no. We are seeing the American man, porn addicted, lowest testosterone rates in 30 or 40 years,
That's a fact.
least married,
ridiculous.
least purpose, most suicidal in history. Why? It's because our society is configured towards collapsing the American man. That's bad
Facts.
for men, it's bad for women, it's bad for our country. And that's, I think, one of the reasons why Andrew Tate has become so unbelievably successful, is he does it in an eloquent and charismatic way with a lot of wisdom. But honestly, is Andrew Tate saying anything that 30 years ago would not have been commonplace to say?
Nope. So yeah, I agree with that. It's one of my favorite takes. Like, not even just of Charlie Kirk, but that's one of my favorite takes of Andrew Tate himself. One of the best opinions that I've heard given on Andrew Tate is the one gave by Charlie Kirk. All right, I know you guys are wanting to get into the main event, or what most of you probably consider the main event. Some of you probably care about this more. If that's the case, then I'm glad that we've been able to cover this for the last 45 minutes. But we're gonna look at, obviously we have to look at Nick Fuentes' response to it, and then we're gonna discuss that, and then we'll wrap up the Andrew Tate stuff, and we will jump into the main event, which is reacting and commentating on the interview between Nick Fuentes and Hunter Biden, which has dropped. I'm pretty sure it dropped today. It may have dropped yesterday. I will check. It came up on my feed today, so it probably would have come up on my feed yesterday if it dropped yesterday. But let's go ahead and see what Nick Fuentes had to say about the Tate's arrest. I apologize to this video. You're gonna see some random ass guy in the bottom left hand corner, and that's only because I wanted to use YouTube for all these clips just to make it simultaneous, and because YouTube has put so much ban and restriction on Nick's content, the only video I could find of this is a reaction. But thankfully, the part that we're going to listen to, he doesn't talk at all. So bear with me, and let's see what Nick Fuentes had to say.
But our other big story from the weekend, our featured story, is that the Tate brothers have been arrested in Miami, Florida. They were arrested on Saturday. They were supposed to attend this boxing event or something, and they got picked up by the cops. They have been thrown in federal prison where they await a hearing next week. So they're going to be in prison for a whole week. Their lawyer says they're in solitary confinement.
Which is also
ridiculous. And this is because the United Kingdom has made a request to extradite them, where they will face a total of 58 charges between the two of them related to sex crimes that they allegedly committed over a decade ago. And this is a story from the New York Times. It says, quote, the influencer brothers Andrew...
This is one of the other reasons I brought this clip, guys, is because I wanted to read you guys the New York Times article along with the BBC article, but I am not currently subscribed to the New York Times. I know, I probably should be. I might do that. But... so I was not able to read it or even pull it up without a subscription. So since he has that article, I thought it would also be good to be able to hear what that article has to say. So that's what he's about to read now.
Tristan Tate will remain in custody as their lawyers told the court on Monday that they plan to fight extradition to England to face new charges of rape and sex trafficking. The Tates appeared in federal court after marshals arrested them on Saturday at a boxing event in downtown Miami. Their attorney, Joseph McBride, told reporters after the hearing that the charges were politically motivated. The Tates have hired the high-profile South Florida law firm of Roy Black to fight the extradition. The attorneys will convene before a magistrate judge in 1 week to discuss scheduling a hearing to decide whether the brothers will remain in detention while they fight the extradition. According to British prosecutors, the latest charges stem from incidents involving 4 women that occurred between July 2010 and August 2017. Andrew Tate is facing 7 counts of rape, 3 counts of sex trafficking, 3 counts of assault, and 19 more charges relating to indecent images of a child and extreme pornography.
Anybody who believes he actually did this is crazy.
Of rape and 3 counts of sex trafficking. In all, prosecutors in the UK have brought 59 charges against the brothers. British law enforcement had previously charged them with rape and human trafficking in relation to incidents involving 3 women between 2012 and 2015. So, what more is there to say about this that hasn't already been said? It is
And that's my trouble, guys. So I apologize if I haven't been giving a lot of like my own commentary and add on to these things. I have a lot to say, but I don't want to feel like I'm just echoing other people. So the reason I'm bringing out these clips and these people to have alongside what I'm saying is because since we are 6 days late to this happening, because we haven't done an episode in 2 months, which again that's going to change. We're gonna go over that schedule. Excuse me, before the end of this live. Excuse me. But so much has already been said, and I feel like a lot of my stuff would just sound like it's echoing other people, and I don't want to sound like I'm just quoting other people and stealing their stuff without giving due like credit and giving them credit for what they actually said, which is why I'm having these clips up. But let's continue to see what Nick has to say.
Well, let's just say this. Obviously, this is politically motivated. Of course.
100%.
And people want to weigh in. So right away when I saw this arrest on Saturday, I went out on Twitter and said, free Andrew and Tristan Tate. And I was surprised how much criticism I got for the post. From Ben Shapiro and his Shabbos Goy, Matt Fradd, and others. They said, actually,
sorry, I had to imitate Ben Shapiro real quick, but no, 100%. Do you guys remember back when Andrew Tate was first arrested and hashtag like free Daddy Tate, or like a bunch of guys were like putting that on Twitter and stuff? That was hilarious. Like I don't think I ever did that, and it may have been cringe at the time, but looking back on it and back then, that was hilarious. What the frick? Sorry, my Facebook monitoring just went away. Okay. All right, let's see what Nick has to say. Nick, I love Nick because Nick's funny. Nick is just real. As he would call himself, he's a real word that I'm not going to say currently on this live. YN.
Don't free them because they are a bunch of brown rapists that have sex with white women.
He's talking about what Jews think of the Muslims.
And I want to say, so what is it about Andrew and Tristan Tate that makes them any different from every other man that has been accused under Me Too?
Exactly.
How is this any different? This is the Me Too movement. Mm-hmm. They do the same thing to Donald Trump. They do the same thing to all these people. If you become
exactly, and why are people like Ben Shapiro and Michael Knowles condemning the Tates based on mere accusations when Trump has also been accused of rape? Trump has also been accused of sexual assault, and Trump's actually been convicted. He's obviously, with the whole E. Jean Carroll thing, the statute of limitations was up, so he couldn't be federally charged. But he was held liable, and he actually has already had to pay out recently. That was something else that happened since our last episode. Was he had to pay out, I think it was $5 million or $10 million to E. Jean Carroll that was being held in a court's account while he's fighting the appeals. And if she wins the defamation suit too, he'll have to pay out another $82 million, which is ridiculous. So why are they supporting him and saying, oh, well, he's innocent, but the Tates aren't? Just because back in their 20s they ran a pornography business, and then I mean Tristan obviously condemns that now, and I'm pretty sure Andrew would too because he's Muslim. They were both atheists back then. They didn't believe in God. They were young. They wanted to, and that's a lot of young people do that. People like Nala Ray, who was one of the #1 models on OnlyFans, and now she's come to Christ. Thank God. So why do we give everybody else a pass? Everybody else is cool, but the Tates aren't. It doesn't make any sense to me.
a political target, you're accused of rape.
Exactly.
If you become a high-profile political person on the right, and specifically someone on the right that is challenging the status quo, it's a sexual assault allegation. It's a rape allegation.
It's honestly funny. It's literally gotten to the point where it's funny now. It sucks to be able to say that that's funny, but it is. It's laughable that every single person, even the Chrisleys. I mean, he wasn't accused of rape. Do you know people that have accused Todd Chrisley of being gay? And the whole thing with them. I mean, Trump pardoned him. Thank God. But do you know what the prosecutor who did their trial said before they even said their opening statement? This is what they said. They said, when I am done with my opening statement, I will have presented to you the Southern version of the Trumps. If that's not political bias, I don't know what is. And that's happening everywhere with every political person, every celebrity, every person who's ever supported Trump, been MAGA, been America First, anything that's on the right and challenges, like he said, the status quo. Rape. Brett Kavanaugh, I don't know his first name, but Kavanaugh, they did the same thing to him when he ran for senator. So I don't know why it's becoming so controversial. It's becoming so like surprising that they're doing this. But why are people not giving the Tates a break, but they'll give everybody else a break?
Allegations never change. It's always the same. Obviously, it's politically motivated. 100%. Was there this much interest after we saw the Epstein files?
Nope.
3 million.
Ben Shapiro and Donald Trump. After Donald Trump, this is after he became president, guys. This was after Trump became president for the other time. He literally said, he was asked in a press conference at the White House, what are you going to do about the Epstein files? He's like, Epstein? Who cares about Epstein? If you're still to the Epstein files, you're honestly on something. And Ben Shapiro said the same thing to do. He said Epstein, like, the hypocrisy and the double standard is way too much for me. It's getting ridiculous at this point.
Epstein files. How many people associated with Jeffrey Epstein, who, although I've said nice things about Epstein, he was a sex criminal.
Oh, 100%.
We could have an adult conversation about Epstein, and I have. Epstein was a sex criminal. High-profile people were on his island and were associates of his and did business with him. And none of those people have been named as persons of interest in any investigation.
Nope.
None of them been charged, extradited, anything like that. You never heard anything about it. Peter Thiel is named in the files. Ronald Lauder is named in the files. All these people are named in the files. Nothing happens to them. They're not investigated. They're not questioned. They're not charged. Nothing. So why are Romania and the UK and the United States, and specifically the state of Florida, why are they so interested in the Tate brothers and what happened 15 years ago? It's because of politics.
Yeah, for sure. And this is actually insane because...
Okay, that's all we're going to listen to because then he starts talking. No, okay, so guys, that was the last clip. That was Nick Fuentes' take on the Tates. So I'm gonna go ahead and give my last statement on this, and then we're gonna wrap up this and move into what I consider to be the main event. You guys may have liked this better, and again, that's fine, which is the Nick Fuentes and Hunter Biden interview that got dropped by Channel 5. So in the end, what do any of us really know? None of us have seen the evidence. None of us know the Tates personally. All we know is what our friends have told us. Short 15-second clips that we've seen online, and all a bunch of just hearsay and conspiracy. At the end of the day, we know that the political system is corrupt, and we know that the UK is even more corrupt than the United States. So is it really going to be surprising if they're convicted? I don't think so. But we have to look out for hardcore evidence. And I don't mean just accusations and sample audio clips with no video. I mean actual evidence other than testimonies, which can be coerced and people can be paid to do that, as we've seen in the first time that they were charged. And with AI now, you can fabricate so much, and we know that they want. Tate's warned us about this. He's been saying for years they're gonna find a way to arrest me, and they're gonna find a way to take me out of the public eye. So as of right now, my stance is I'm choosing to stand with Tate. I'm choosing to believe that he is innocent. I'm going to see how the trial goes. I'm going to continue to be in his corner until I can't be. And again, if that day, which I really hope it doesn't come, but if the day comes that there is actual evidence that he did even one of these crimes, that he raped a child or did sex trafficking or all this other stuff, then again, like I've said, I support the death penalty. I don't support the death penalty in all circumstances, but I 100% support the death penalty for murders, rapists, and pedophiles. So I mean, it'll be hard because it'll be a person that you thought you knew well and a person that you thought was one person and they weren't. But that's at the end of the day what's going to have to happen. All right, guys. I'm sorry, I'm getting emotional. Give me 1 second. All right. Let's jump in now to the main event, the interview between Nick Fuentes, or the sit down, whatever you want to call it, because there's a third party there, Andrew Kavanaugh, I'm pretty sure, who runs Channel 5. But we're finally getting the sit down between Nick Fuentes and Hunter Biden. So give me 1 second, guys, because I'm gonna be recording to make it easier to make clips and stuff of this part. I'm gonna be recording in vertical with split screen. I need to get that set real quick, so bear with me as I get this set up, and then we'll go on with that. So give me 1 second. All right, guys, I think we are all set. So, without further ado, Channel 5, Nick Fuentes and Hunter Biden sit down. Let's get into it.
You said you want to ask me, why are you a Nazi?
Inclusion has been our greatest strength. Diversity has been our greatest strength.
That's a lie.
White people do feel like we are being boxed out.
A 26-year-old white kid doesn't feel like he has access because he's been canceled, and the problem is black people.
I didn't say the problem's black people.
Well, you just did, Nick. You just
said the problem is crime, and we know who's doing the crime in Chicago.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yes.
About
I'm sorry, guys. I've got to pause right there because so many people are gonna think what he just said there is somehow racist or evil. What he said is the problem is not black people. He's like, what is the problem? The problem is crime. And what do we know for a fact? Black people make up 13% of the United States population. How much of the crime do they commit? 60%, and even higher percentage of that in places like Chicago and Baltimore. So yeah, if you're against crime, if you want to speak out against crime, then a majority of the crime that you're speaking out against is being perpetrated, unfortunately, by black individuals. So I don't know how that's racist to say. It's what I say. It's not racism. It's pattern recognition, which I don't know why in our day and age and society, pattern recognition is being somehow viewed as evil and racist when it's what we've had for all of time.
Holocaust things.
Oh, about that. We get to...
You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
About the Holocaust things.
Oh, about that. We get to say whatever we want on the internet. We get to deny the Holocaust. As far as Jews are concerned in general, I think that everybody in the country should be treated with dignity and respect and have their civil rights.
What do you think about somebody like Mamdani?
Personally, I don't like him. Like, for example, on 4th of July, when he takes the opportunity to sit there with, let's be honest, not a single white person.
What about fucking Donald Trump? There's no ideological core to Donald Trump.
No, I agree with you.
Don Jr. got the largest loan ever given by the Department of Defense.
Vance owes his entire political career to Peter Thiel. Whichever firm is the one to develop ASI, that could confer dictatorial-like powers upon the CEO of that company.
Everything that we think about the way in which we exist in the world completely changes.
Increasingly with Uber, Airbnb, banking apps, you can't live your life without the tech platforms.
Everything that AI is built on is ours. That's what they're stealing from us. I want to...
I will say that as well. I love tech. I love all my tech. I mean, like y'all can see. I mean, you can't see my setup right now, but I'm a big fan of technology. But I do agree that we need to make it so there's not such a huge monopoly on all of the tech platforms. Because if this continues and we continue to allow them to do the stuff that they're trying to do with data centers and flock cameras, the stuff that James Fishback is trying to stop from being done in Florida, then eventually they're gonna have full control over all aspects of your life. And if Apple even talks about Apple hasn't said anything, but there's been reports of when Apple releases their new devices in September that they're going to start a new program, that they're going to be doing away with the iPhone upgrade program, and they're going to be doing what's called the iPhone lease program, which is where you can lease the phone, pay a certain amount each month, and then when the new phone comes out, just upgrade automatically to the next one, which sounds great. But what they've said that they're going to do is if you miss one payment or you're 1 day late on the payment, what do? They lock your phone. They take away access to your apps. And if they can do that if you're missing a payment, what makes you think they can't do that if you don't do the stuff they want you to do and don't say what they want you to say online? So it's pretty scary, but let's continue.
Common ground of how much of a shithead Donald Trump is. We can get there, okay?
The kind of first question that I had whenever I caught wind that you wanted to do an interview like this is, why now? What made you want to sit down for this kind of interview?
Well, I think it's an interesting conversation to have all of us here. And, I think it's a moment in our country when there's a lot of realignment. I think that people recognize, especially in the past couple of years, I'm like a non-conventional critic, maybe, of what's happening. And so I think it'll be an interesting, productive conversation. I think it'll be different.
But I mean, specifically, because we kind of share a publicist, I heard that you wanted to kind of... Okay. we have a publicist that you hit up, and you said that you wanted to talk to someone who would give you kind of...
I love the people fact checking in the background. I don't have a production team yet, guys. I'm not that big. I'm hoping to recruit some people when I get to school to help me with these episodes, to help me with editing and making content, so we can get more stuff out to you out to you guys faster. But that's why they're there. Is to fact check things, to make sure that we're not just spewing lies on these lives. That was an alliteration. That was fun.
A fair shot to clear up some things and maybe some misconceptions about you and the things you believe.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think that, I'm somebody who I think, like you, actually, maybe we have this in common, is kind of pigeonholed in a certain way for things that we've done.
Nick Fuentes and Hunter Biden having something in common is wild. I mean, it doesn't sound that crazy, but when you think of the two and how different they are, complete opposite sides of the political spectrum, and you start saying, oh, well, put them in the same sentence, like Nick Fuentes and Hunter Biden both, what? Are you sure? Let's continue.
The past or things that we've said.
Yeah, I'm a crackhead.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm racist, right?
I got pigeonholed there. Mine is true. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, mine's a little true. Maybe a little, no.
We're all a little bit racist, guys.
Yeah,
we're all a little racist.
Clear up some of the misrepresentations and put out something accurate.
So what do you think is the most misrepresented thing about you?
Well, I think really the whole image everybody has about me. When you mentioned me, I think on a recent show, you said you want to ask me, why are you a Nazi?
Yeah.
And that's how everybody knows me. Everybody thinks of me as a white supremacist Nazi, and I don't think that's really true at all. I think that we definitely have different values. I mean, you're more from the left, I'm more from the right, but I don't think I'm a hater. I'm not a hateful person. It is Heil Hitler Friday, Heil Hitler, all my niggas Nazis.
Hitler was very fucking cool.
Yes, I do.
Sorry, I'm not going to be able to keep a straight face.
I'm tired of pretending he's not.
So what's the thing about, I guess, traditional Nazism that you think you disagree with the most?
Well, it's a non-Christian ideology. So,
Facts.
I mean, look, I believe that race is real, as the Nazis did, but I don't think it utterly defines a person. As a Christian, I think we're all created beings. I do believe there's such a thing as a universal human community. And so I think it's a cruel ideology. I've said this on my show, by the way, but I mean, that would maybe be the fundamental.
Did you always feel that way?
Always, yeah, absolutely.
So even whenever you were younger and stuff?
I did, but you got to recognize times have changed. 10 years ago, we had a totally different political world. The regulation and policing of speech, what you would call wokeness, I think was at an all-time high when I got started as a very young man.
What you would call wokeness?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and I
How
think,
many people call it wokeness?
would you not say there were some
him,
excesses maybe in those days?
Yeah, in those days, I wasn't doing too well, so I wasn't paying much attention.
No, you were not.
Anyway, I would love to hear, and I'm not asking you to retract everything that you've ever
said and all the, or anything. But I said that I would love to talk to you because, number one, I told you this, is that I think you're really smart. And I think that with that comes in a real responsibility. And you have an audience. And I have a friend whose son is my daughter's age,
Now, I will say, guys, I do agree with that. Me, Nick, Hunter, even anybody that has an online presence, anybody that has any sort of audience on the internet world, you do have, whether people want to choose to take responsibility or not, you do have a responsibility to that community. You have a responsibility to yourself to stay true to yourself. Don't be a grifter. Don't be just like a lot of people are going to accuse me. A lot of people are going to say you're just saying all this stuff because it's popular right now, and if this was like 10 years ago you were saying this. Like I don't know what I would say if I was this age 10 years ago. It's a hypothetical that I'm unable to acknowledge or answer. But what I can say is everything that I say on this show, everything that I say when you see me in person, and whenever I say on social media, I mean 100%. Obviously, certain times I'm joking, sometimes I'm being sarcastic. So you can't say you can't take anything everybody says literally. You have to have a certain level of deference and a certain level of understanding and competency to see what certain people mean by things. But you do absolutely have a responsibility to your audience, and if you think you don't, then you don't deserve to have a presence in the online world.
Be 28, we got your age, and he's really smart, and he is a big fan of yours. And so, by virtue of the relationship,
hold on, did he just say his nephew was a fan of Nick Fuentes? Hold up, that's actually wild if that's true.
Maybe
it reminds me of when Gavin Newsom had Charlie Kirk on his show and on his podcast. I think Charlie Kirk was actually the first episode that Gavin Newsom ever did of his podcast. I really enjoyed watching that. But at the very beginning, he's like, it was his son. He's like, my son wanted to skip school to come see it. He's like, Dad, when's Charlie coming? And it's crazy that like in Tim Walz, there was the whole picture of Tim Walz's entire family saying Waltz for Trump, which it's wild that all these liberal woke people, it's honestly kind of like makes you question, like, are these people grifters? Are these people like, do they even believe what they're saying? Or do you believe like people like Dean Withers and Parker, are they actually liberals, or are they just grifting and doing that stuff on the left because there's not enough room on the right to get to gain traction in? But I want to see what he just said.
I have a friend whose son is my daughter's age.
Okay. So
maybe 28. We got your age. And he's really smart, and he is a big fan of yours. And so, by virtue of the relationship, I got to learn what it is why he is a fan of yours. And none of it has to do with, I would hope you agree, like really egregious things that you've said in the past about the Holocaust or about,
Did the Jews ever talk about the 100 million whites that died in World War II? Or do they just bitch and moan about the so-called 6 million Jews that died? And so it's just nice to poke holes in it and say, it's not 6 million. 6 million? I don't think so.
And I don't even know, I think I've heard you since kind of rescind a lot of that.
You concede that 6 million Jews died in the Holocaust?
Possibly more. Possibly.
Bro, why? This is wild, guys. They're using the clip. This was such a viral clip. After Nick went on Piers Morgan's thing, he was trolling Piers this entire time. Basically, what happened was Piers Morgan asked Nick how many Jews that he thought died in the Holocaust. He's like, do you agree and do you accept the 6 million figure? And Nick was like, no, man. I mean, I don't know. I believe it could be 8 or 9 million, 10 million. Like, he was trolling, and the fact that they're using this to support that he conceded his statements is wild to me. And I hope Nick brings up that was just one big troll. I mean, he might not, but that's wild that they're using this clip. That's wild.
You concede that 6 million Jews died in the Holocaust?
Possibly more. Possibly, we're discovering all the time. So it could maybe even be more than that.
But what he agrees with is kind of the anger about the situation that particularly your generation finds yourself in. Absolutely. I know that to be real. And I think that
then why don't you care about it, Hunter?
My reasons
speak out against
for recognizing that anger as being legitimate and my targets are different than yours. I just wanted to hear from you. When you say you're canceled by the right in 2016.
Yes.
I almost felt like in preparing to meet you now is that your reaction to that was to just dig deeper and deeper into kind of the outsider, kind of radical, say anything for the purpose of generating, the attention to build an audience. Is that true? And it's not an accusation. I really mean it. I want this to be a conversation as much as possible.
I mean, there's certainly some truth to that, but I think that might be overstating it a little bit, because I really got canceled by the right and the left.
Yeah.
Facts.
And back in those days in 2017, you had these far left journalists at Huffington Post, Right Wing Watch, ADL, SPLC, and I really believe they were on a mission to find extremist rhetoric, the white nationalist, neo-Nazi boogeyman, all that kind of stuff. And they would look at someone like myself, 18, and if I was being serious or joking, things taken out of context, they would clip it, post it, and they wanted me to be the villain. And I think they wanted a lot of people to be the villain. I think the left, in a way, kind of created this climate where I think they pushed a lot of people farther to the right.
No, by the way, that very well may be true, but you gave them a lot of ammunition.
It's a fact, Hunter.
That's true.
It's an objective fact.
I hope that some of those things that you've said in the past are not things that you believed in and that are you meant just to engender like a really radical kind of response. I mean, is that true or not?
Well, again, I think that back in those days, you could not say anything. In 2017, 2018, cancel culture was so in overdrive. Any joke, any edgelording, anything like that, they would, first of all, there's no sense of humor.
I'm so old. I don't even, what's
Okay, well, to break it down for you, so the dawn of wokeness as it's known today, I think was in like the post-Trump era. After Trump won the election in 2016, there was a big movement to deplatform and kind of push away those who, I guess the left feel like had galvanized them into the presidency. So there was this big idea that if you push people off mainstream social media platforms, they would go away. Now we know through Trump's reelection, that's not even true. But at the time, that was the mantra. Problematic viewpoints needed to be silenced, tucked away somewhere, and they would just sort of die in isolation. So I think that was the climate where you first got started, 2017. Yeah. That time period was like crucial for getting people off mainstream platforms. Is that correct?
Yeah, and I would say that you got to get into the psychology of those days. It felt like anybody that wasn't on board with the most progressive agenda had no options. There was just no alternative. It was going to be progressive, liberal, feminist, BLM, all that kind of stuff. And if you were to the right of John McCain, you're no platformed. Censored, banned from all the platforms, you're fired from your job, you're ostracized socially. And I think what happened really in 2021 when Trump got banned from the platforms is
that was crazy. The fact that they the fact that they think it's okay. Sorry, I'm trying
what happened really in 2020.
The fact that they banned the sitting president from Twitter. This is back when this is before Elon even bought. This is before X, before everything. They banned the sitting president of the United States from Twitter, and I don't know if they didn't understand how dangerous of a precedent that set, or that sets, or that they just didn't care. But that's a very dangerous precedent, that you're going to go so far into this digging your heels in of cancel culture that you're willing to ban the president off of Twitter when there was no, absolutely zero right or reason to even ban him, which it's still mind-boggling to me to this day.
2021 when Trump got banned from the platforms is it felt like 70 million people got canceled. 70 million people that voted for Trump, or 60, 70 million people we were all felt like, oh, so if Trump is out of politics and we're all banned from the platforms, then how is there any redress for our grievances? Do we just have to shut up and get with the program and we're all going to be progressive? And I think that drove people to a far more radical place where people said, well, what really is a solution? We can't talk. We can't express ourselves. We can't participate in the process or run for office. And I was one of the people saying that's exactly what's going to happen. It's going to drive people to extremism. If you don't talk, if people don't feel like they have a seat at the table and enfranchisement, I think then they start exploring options outside the system,
100%.
Outside of the political process.
That's what I did.
The democratic process.
I've been in politics
so I think it's self-inflicted in many
become
ways.
So you feel like after the mass
more
deplatforming in 2021, whenever people on the right got pushed to platforms like Parler, Gab, Rumble, etc., the lack of discourse and like the political singularity of those platforms.
You want to know why I'm streaming on Rumble right now? It's not even just because Rumble makes it very easy and very convenient to be able to because that's how I'm streaming to all the platforms right now. That's the only way that I'm able able to stream to YouTube, Facebook, X, Twitch, and all at the same time is through Rumble. But if I'm being completely honest, when I started this podcast, I mean, you guys know why it's called Truth Uncensored. I've said this from the very beginning. I'm a very big probator of the proponent of the First Amendment. I think the freedom of speech and Second Amendment. First and Second Amendments are two of the greatest rights that we have. I mean, me as a Christian, probably the freedom of religion as well. But there's so many podcasts that claim to be uncensored, but they're really not, because they're filtered, they're edited, they censor themselves. So when I made this podcast, I knew for a fact that I at least wanted there to be one version of it where there was no censor. It was just raw, blunt. Nothing was censored. I can say whatever I want. The guests can say whatever they want. And so far, I've been able to do that. But the reason I've been able to do that is because Rumble does not have any regulations against free speech like all the other platforms do, which is why I already told you guys, and I'll get into more of this when we do the schedule and stuff towards the end of this stream. But when I re-upload this to places like YouTube and put clips on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook to promote it, I'm gonna have to edit a lot of it because of the community guidelines and stuff that they've put in place. So watching these live, watching my streams, watching the episodes live is really the only way for you to get that full uncensored thing that I'm going for.
Created more extremism?
Absolutely. Because look, you take Trump off of Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and I predicted this in 21. I said, watch, you're going to see alternative social media rise because some venture capitalist is going to see there's a huge market of 70 million people that are going to follow Trump because Trump is no platformed. And that's exactly what happened. Rumble blew up, Elon bought Twitter, and what happened when you had total free speech on these platforms? Well, Twitter now resembles 4chan. And now, there's no gatekeepers. And I think it did push people in a radical direction. And honestly, people are even blowing past me. Now there's like mainstream normie types that are even blowing past me in terms of how radical they are. People start saying things like, there's no political solution, there's going to be a civil war, we need a revolution. And I think that's because the message from the left was, you're crushed. You have no options, you can't win, there's no alternative. Trump is going to be indicted and charged and can't run. You can't be on Twitter, you can't have a job. And so people started to say, okay, well, we still exist. We're still here, we still have these concerns. What do we do now? And then people start to say, well, we need a revolution. And I'm one of the only people saying, no, we should still engage in the process and talk with each other. And it's not all one-sided. I think there's problems on the left and the right, but I certainly think it takes two to tango.
Okay, so we agree. I think that there are problems on the left and the right, and I don't disagree with some of the things that you just said. I guess I just came to a different conclusion, that there are some things that people should be deplatformed for. Not that they can't say it where they want to say it, but I think that it's a right of anybody.
Okay, top three things. What do you think?
There's a difference between being able to say that you're proud of your white heritage and also being just a flat-out racist. I think that there's a difference between saying that you're proud of your Christian heritage and the white culture from what you come from and Nazis, or that you adopt the Nazism as a legitimate ideology. I think that there's a difference between saying that you disagree with the United States policy as it relates to Israel and saying that the Holocaust didn't exist.
That was like, Mom, Dad, Hitler was awesome. Hitler was right. And the Holocaust didn't happen. And my parents were like, we cannot believe.
Those would be top three things in my mind. I know that you believe that some people took you out of context. And I do agree. Look, on both the right and the left, there are these gatekeepers, 100%. And look at me. The mainstream press just destroyed me for 7 years without any real kind of reflection about what they were doing. I do think that, some of those things are legitimate reasons to say, we don't want you on our, on our commercial platform. Would you agree with that? I mean, you just said, for instance, people calling for like an armed revolution, like people calling for actual violence. you're opposed to.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm against violence,
Yeah.
and I do think those are one of the legitimate things that should be taken from the platform. You know, there's
I
a lot
agree.
of the stuff on social media I don't agree with.
I've said this before, and I'll say it again, guys. Again, I'm a full proponent of full free speech. So in public, in the privacy of your own home, you should be able to say whatever you want, no matter how. Because I'm gonna quote Charlie Kirk again, but he has so many good quotes. But as Charlie Kirk said, free speech means allowing the most hateful, the most nasty, the most horrible, disgusting, preposterous rhetoric possible. That has to be allowed in order for free speech to be free speech. As soon as you start limiting any speech, it's not free speech. However, social media platforms, I'll admit, and it's a fact, these social media platforms are owned by private corporations, private people. Elon Musk controls Twitter. If Elon Musk wanted to, he could ban whoever he wanted off of Twitter. He's just chosen to make it a free speech platform. There are very few things that I think should be taken off of social media. But I'll give you I'll do what he asked Hunter Biden to do. I'll give you my top 3 things. Calling for violence. If you're threatening to kill anybody, like all these people like threatening Trump doesn't get taken down. But if you're placing death threats, if you are calling for violence, if you're doing any of that stuff, I believe that they have a right to not only ban I don't think they should go. That's the other thing. I don't think they should go straight to banning people. So I think that they should definitely ban the post. They should take the post and they should give you some sort of violation for it, and maybe like stop you from like going live and doing that kind of stuff. But if it continues, yeah, you should be banned. And I think nudity, production of illicit sexual activity, and pornographic activity. If you're posting content and you're not like, obviously some places like allow 18 plus, like X allows 18 plus content, TikTok allows 18 plus content. But if you're choosing not to label it 18 plus, and you're choosing not to take the steps to make it only accessible to adults, or even just putting it on a pornography site, yeah, I think that you should be banned. And just like Dean Withers on his TikTok live stream, there have been people, this is crazy, I don't even know why anybody would do this. They're a horrible face of the conservative movement because they're going on there as Trump supporters, but people that like flash their dick on his streams, people that like people that do all this stuff on his streams, and what does he do? Takes a picture of it, sends it to TikTok gives it to the police department, straight to prison because there are kids watching this live stream. So I think any calls for violence or actual threats, any acts of nudity, sexual content, or any promotion or use of illegal drugs such as heroin, fentanyl, cocaine, any of that stuff should be banned as well. But those are really my three things. Other than that, I don't really think there's much that you should be banned for, that your post should be taken down for.
Again, you know, what started to happen is there was this like editorial censorship where certain ideas were banned. And it was such a broad brush and also totally opaque and ad hoc. You'd be on YouTube, like I was, for example, they banned me for life and didn't even give me a reason. Not a specific quote, not a specific...
That's the other thing that's ridiculous that they do. And I'm able to comment on this because I've actually had this experience in my own personal life. This is not just YouTube. This is Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I have been demonetized multiple times in the last year on Instagram and Facebook. Thankfully, I've gotten it back. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm going to go ahead and stop the initial recording on this. Or was that the short recording? All right, never mind. I think that was the vertical recording. There was some error with the recording just now, and I need to have this recording to be able to edit it. So I'm going to go ahead and just really quick stop this recording. And we're going to go ahead and start recording again. So that way we can make sure this does not affect. Okay, we're recording now. Sorry guys, I had to get that fixed. So I have had when Facebook didn't demonetize me, Instagram. I've been demonetized at least two to three times on on Instagram in the last year, stopping me from making money on there. And they did give me a reason for demonetization, but for banning of posts, Instagram takes my stories down all the time. If you guys know me, I post a lot on my stories. Most of my stories are just things that I share on there, but they'll take it down, and they don't even tell me what story they took down. They'll say, we took down one of your stories because of this, and this. So they give you a reason, but they don't show you what the post was. And I haven't personally been banned from any social media platforms, thank God. But yeah, when they ban you, I know people personally who have been banned from places like YouTube and TikTok. They don't give you a reason. They just ban you, and they say, sorry, you're banned. And at least if you're gonna ban somebody, have the balls to tell them why. Like, that's just pathetic. You're hiding behind ridiculous
infraction, and so you don't know what the rules are.
Damn, guys, we're only 13 minutes in this, and we're already an hour and a half into into the episode. We might not be able to react to the whole thing on this podcast, guys. So I'm gonna try and get through some more of it. But if we don't get through the whole, interview in this podcast episode, then what I will do is I will make a separate YouTube video just reacting to this, and I'll make separate clips and post those to where. Crap. All right, guys, it looks like there's no space left on my on whatever drive I'm putting these files on currently, so I'm not able to record anymore, which means that I can't upload the rest of this as an episode. So we're actually gonna have to cut this episode short. I apologize, and we're gonna have to cut it right here. I feel like we've had a good episode. We've gotten good commentary in on the Tates, and we've got a good bounce back. But yeah, we're gonna have to end the episode here, so I can figure out the recording and what I need to do to get these off my computer, so I can make more content for you guys. But to those of you that tuned in, we have consistently had three to five people on Reddit for the whole stream. So thank you to you guys for that. We've had 2 people on YouTube. I didn't read the live chats off, but George Zimmerman 1738 said WYT recommended showing me a Graper live. Keep it up, man. I will say, George Zimmerman 1738, thank you for the comment. I appreciate you. I hope that you will subscribe, add the podcast, and keep on listening. But for those of you out there who have seen this comment probably and I haven't addressed it, this is not a Groiper live. This is not a Groiper podcast. I wouldn't even necessarily say I identify 100% as a Groiper. I like Nick Fuentes. I agree with most of the things that he says, but I am my own person. I am America first, but this is in no way, shape, or form just a Groiper live. So for those of you that may have been turned off by that comment because I didn't say anything about it, I just want to go ahead and clear that up now. But anyways, guys, for the rest of that, thank you so much for tuning into the podcast. Thank you for choosing to spend your time this evening with us. And if you're watching, if you're listening, or if you're watching at home, thank you so much for tuning in. And before I go, I'm going to quickly give you guys the schedule. So the schedule of podcast episodes, and I'll reiterate this and make posts about this, but the podcasting schedule for this week. Tomorrow is Sunday. We're not going to have any episodes on Sunday. We will be posting content on platforms, but we will not be having an episode. We will have an episode Monday evening at either 5 or 7 p.m. I will confirm that time with you guys. There will not be an episode on Tuesday. There will not be an episode on Wednesday. Thursday, if we have an episode, it'll be earlier in the day. And so yeah, we will definitely have an episode on Monday. I can't guarantee any other episodes. If we do, they will be later in the day, but be on the lookout for more content and more episodes. And I will see you guys in the next episode. Peace out. Thank you for tuning in to Truth Uncensored.